Can you do tricks? Can you have children?
Can people in wheelchairs have sex?
Apparently, the people that have asked these questions have absolutely no home training whatsoever, okay?
Pretty sassy. Pretty trendy. Pretty on the go. Pushing pretty.
This is Pushing Pretty with Courtney Elaine. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. I really appreciate all the love and support. Today, I want to talk about frequently asked questions to those who are wheelchair users. Before I was injured, there were so many things that I didn't know or didn't understand about being disabled. Once I found myself in this physical predicament, I realized just how misinformed I was. So I want to ask some of those questions that could be uncomfortable to ask or could frankly be very invasive to ask. Here is that safe zone for you to just get it out. So I went online, I asked people what were some of the questions that they have for those who are disabled, and I'm going to answer them here.
Can you do tricks?
I'm assuming that this person meant like willies? Like, can you pop willies? I think that's so, it's funny because I wouldn't consider that to be a trick. I would consider it to be something that's kind of like necessary, because if you don't know how to do a wheelie, it can make it more difficult to get over thresholds. Like, say for instance, there's a step at the door. If you can't pop the wheelie, then it would be hard for you to get over that threshold. So I don't necessarily consider that to be a trick. I think that people tend to think that that is like a trick, I guess. But it's not. It's like a tool. It's like a necessity. And no, not everyone is able to do them. I personally can do them enough to get by. But when it comes to doing all the extracurricular, like popping the wheelie and turning around and spinning and all that jazz, I cannot do that. It's been like 22 years that I've been in a wheelchair. I don't think that I will ever get to that point at this place in my life. Like, I don't even think that I really would want to do that. I think it looks cool, but yeah, I'm not equipped with those skills. And again, not everyone is. So,
Should I bend down when speaking to someone in a wheelchair?
my personal preference is no. No, you should not. Me being in a wheelchair and me being lower than you are does not affect my ability to hear. So I think a lot of times people, for one, want to be able to make sure that you can hear them, and two, they want to be able to make sure, this is just the way my brain works, they want to make sure that they're able to look you in the eye when they're speaking to you. So a lot of times it feels like they feel like they need to bend down in order to speak to you. I personally don't like it. I really feel like it's something that adults do to children, and I'm a full-grown adult, so I'd rather you just stand up regular, look me in the eyes from up there, and speak to me regular. You know, you don't have to bend down to speak to me. It's just uncomfortable. It's like, and then it's kind of like, ugh, back up now. You ain't got to be so close, because once people start squatting and bending down, they automatically lean in too. And it's like, okay, give me 50 feet. Just do some social distancing, please. Thanks.
Can you drive?
Yes, I can drive. Driving is one of the most rewarding things that I can do because it literally gave me my freedom. For so long, I was dependent on everyone to take me from point A to B. And when I learned how to drive and got myself a car, I was able to just jump in that car when I got good and ready and go without having to ask anybody for anything. And that was a blessing. Like, I'm so grateful for that. I actually did not know that I could drive when I was injured. I was injured at 16, so that was around the age where I was beginning to really become very interested in driving. And I was actually learning. My dad had been teaching me how to drive a stick. And so I was really excited to, get on the road just like most 16-year-olds and, have the opportunity to drive. But once I was injured, that kind of took the backseat. And things such as getting back to normal and gaining my independence became more important than driving. And so it kind of was at the back of my mind. And I remember going to therapy one day and seeing a guy get in and out of a truck, and he was getting out from the driver's side. And I was like, why would he be getting out from the driver's side? Like, clearly he has to be the one driving this car, and there was no one with him. He was by himself. He was putting the chair out of the car and he was getting ready to get out of it. And I was like, okay, I need to know exactly how he's doing this. Is he using his legs? Like, what's going on? How is he able to drive and he's in a wheelchair? And so my mom and I went over, we asked. He let us see the hand controls that he had in his car. He kind of showed us how they worked. And then we spoke to my physical therapist and they guided us in the right direction so that we could get more information about how I could learn how to drive. So I did regular driving lessons like most teens do, and with adaptive equipment in the car, of course. And that is how I learned how to drive.
Do you use your legs to drive?
No, I do not use my legs to drive. I can't use my legs. Like, I'm a quadriplegic, so I do not have the ability to use my legs. So what I do use to drive are or is hand controls. And basically they take the place of me using my foot. I guess that's like the best way that I can describe it without literally showing you. And I guess I'll do a video at some point to literally show you the hand controls. That way, because it's one of those things that you have to see to really just understand it, because yeah, I just have to show you. But no, I do, to answer the question, no, I do not use my legs to drive or my feet to drive. I use my hands with adaptive equipment, also known as hand controls.
Can people in wheelchairs have sex?
Really? People, like, I mean, okay, the audacity of some people, I don't understand. And this is the thing. I'm sure so many people are wondering this. So here we are. Like, what the hell? Yes, 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 I can. And yes, people in wheelchairs can and do have sex, and they have healthy, loving sexual relationships with partners. It's possible. Okay. Um, Golly, I cannot believe. Um, so yes, gosh, this is so. Ah! Like, oh, yeah. I'm not even sure if this. People ask questions, and a lot of times one question leads to another. And fortunately, this is the only question that I got. It didn't go dive deeper than this, but I've been in situations where people have started off with this question, and then they go into more wanting to know detail upon detail. But I've said it before, I don't like people all up in my business. So with that being said, I'm just gonna leave it at that, because clearly just the thought of getting deeper into this question got me all like embarrassed, and nobody else is even in here. Like, what the heck? So yes, people in wheelchairs can have sex. The end.
Can you have children?
I guess it's kind of like one of those follow-up questions to can you have sex? Yes, you can have sex and you can have children. That's what happens when you have sex. No, typically, you know what I mean? Um, I guess it really depends on the person's injury and whether or not, as a female, like your reproductive organs have been affected by your injury. As far as I know, most of the women that I have encountered that are wheelchair users like myself, or who have suffered from paralysis, they are able to have children with no problem. They do not typically have a vaginal birth because of the paralysis. They're unable to push a baby out of the birth canal, but they are able to have a child through cesarean. So yes, women in wheelchairs can birth babies, and they have sex in order to make the baby.
What exactly is it that you can't feel on your body?
Apparently, the people that have asked these questions have absolutely no home training whatsoever. Okay, this is another question that you don't ask, because for one, it ain't none of your business, and two, it's rude, and again, insensitive. Someone who is incapable of feeling things does not want to consistently be asked, can you feel this? Can you feel this? Can you feel this? How about this? How does this feel? Can you feel that? Don't, no, 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 no. Don't do that. That's rude, dude. Like, I okay. A more politically correct way to answer this question would be, I guess if you if you understood the spinal cord and how it works, and you knew what level that person injury was at, then you would be able to kind of determine what it is they could and cannot feel, because at each level on your spine, each level controls something different. So that could kind of give you a clue of what a person can and cannot feel based on their injury level. If you're able to understand how the spine works and each level of the spine, and you know what level that person was injured at, then you can kind of figure out on your own what it is they can and cannot feel. But again, it is kind of just rude to ask, especially if you don't know the person. Now, when you have a relationship with someone who is a wheelchair user and who does have a spinal cord injury, and you have that sort of relationship, then it's okay, if they say so, for you to ask questions like that. But it really depends on whether or not that person is comfortable enough to have that type of conversation. Some people aren't. Others are more open about their injury and things like that. This final question, in my opinion, is one of the most important questions that you can ask somebody in a wheelchair.
How can I assist you?
That is just like, it's music to my ears, because what that question does is it gives me the opportunity to tell you specifically what you can help me with, number one. And number two, it gives me the opportunity to gently tell you no if I got it under control. People don't like to hear no when they see you, and it looks as though it would be easier for them to just help you. But for me, sometimes it's just easier for me to do it myself, because accepting the help, and especially when the person has never helped me before, accepting help also means having to teach the person how it is they need to help you, or what it is they need to do to help you. And oftentimes that can take a lot more longer than it would be for me to just do it myself. You know what I mean? So, how can I help you, or how can I assist you, is one of the most important questions, I think, especially one of the most important questions that I was specifically asked for this video. It's non-invasive. It's not pushy, because like I said, people can be very pushy because they feel like, oh, you need this help. Like, clearly you need this help. You're in a wheelchair. You need this help. And a lot of times that's not even the case. Yeah, I'm in the wheelchair, but that doesn't mean that I need your help. It's nice to get help, but it's not always needed nor wanted. And for someone to really realize that, and ask, how can I assist you? It tells me that you realize that your help is not necessarily needed, but, it's a nice way to say, you may not need it, but I'm here to help. So again, those are some of the frequently asked questions that I've gotten over the years. If there are any additional questions that you'd like me to answer, please drop those questions down in the comments. And while you're at it, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. And again, I'm Courtney Elaine, and this is Pushing Pretty, where I keep it pretty sassy, pretty trendy, and pretty on the go. Until next time, keep pushing. Peace.